Foreword by Jeet, Khalsa, the Missus. Evan is my husband, so you might get the misguided impression that I'm biased. Far from it. I'm not here to blow smoke and paint a pretty picture. And don't get me wrong, I love the guy. But I am here to set the record straight. As the head of this household, I think I've earned that. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not a sugarcoater. I'm sweet enough. Rest assured, I'm also not here to sell anything. I'll let Mr. Clutterbritches pitch his books. I'm here to tell it like it is. And when Evan told me he was writing this little book, I told him, well, I'm writing the foreword. And the poor guy never had a choice. Epic love, great sex. What kind of title is that? I hear you. Let me say this first. In our home, we have clutter, but we know how to clean it up. In our relationship, sometimes Evan and I get on each other's nerves, but we know how to clean it up. Evan is a phenomenal father, an amazing husband, and a sensitive and attentive lover. Not because he's the super Scorpio Casanova he thinks he is, but because he shows up like a true partner. Clutter really is a metaphor. It's not that the big shot best-selling author doesn't have the same clutter as everyone else. It's that he legitimately has come up with a brilliant way to deal with it quickly and effectively so that maintaining our beautiful home and our magnificent marriage doesn't feel overwhelming. When things get messy, we deal with it and move on. And to his credit, he's on to something good here. I've seen what's behind the curtain, and he's legit. I'm a mom and a hardworking massage therapist. If you know any, you know this. I work my ass off. My clients are blocked out in 60 to 90-minute increments 5 days a week, sometimes more than a month out. And Evan is either on site with his clients, on the phone, building his business, or writing his next bestseller. We're both running all the time. And our daughter is 5 years old, which means whenever she's not at school, she and I are connected at the hip. And at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. Mamas, you know what I'm talking about. And I know how you feel. After a long day, a long month, a long few years, you're tired. Your house is not what you'd like it to be. Your kids go to bed too late. The kitchen still needs to be cleaned. Lunch is made. Emails checked. And you're so damn tired. It's overwhelming. I get it. I'm right there with you. And in the midst of all that minutia, the one thing that has made the biggest difference for Evan and I is scheduled intimacy. Yeah, scheduled. And I know that may not sound terribly sexy, but it works. If one of us is too tired, we get a pass. But we both honor our scheduled time together because we know it's good for us on so many levels. Even if our good intentions end with a hot shower, crawling into bed early, a good snuggle, a little talking, and passing out mid-sentence with the lights on, it's okay. We both know tomorrow or the next day we can try again. What matters most is the closeness. We make sure we get it a couple times, absolutely, every single week. And it's made all the difference in the world. We both lead busy, insanely scheduled lives. I'm not complaining. Our lives are beautifully intentional, and we both feel blessed with the spectacular abundance we have. Life is good, but sometimes money gets tight. Sometimes Evan dives into a new project and gets blinders to everything else. Sometimes the mail gets backed up and the piles around the house build up. Sometimes one of us gets sick and things get dropped, just like everyone else. But when we reconnect, we look around and say, it's time to deal with this mess. And we both agree. We divvy it up and get to work. And just like that, before you know it, The house is immaculate. Our systems are humming again. And we have a clutter-free space that feels good to sit, relax, reconnect. That's what this book is about. Figuring it out and putting it into practice in a way that feels doable and sustainable. My most cherished time with my husband comes after the flurry of activity. Sitting on the couch, beverage in hand, visiting after the day is done. That peaceful time when we reconnect and share something from the day. In those moments, I feel connected, cared for, and loved. Those moments help define our deep and lasting friendship. To be honest, Evan is at his sexiest in the moments leading up to that intimate time. When he's vacuuming the floors, cooking dinner, doing the dishes, folding the laundry, and putting our daughter to bed. Those are my biggest turn-ons, because he's actively taking care of our family. That downtime gives me a chance to sit back and appreciate how he and I are really in this together, and that feels sexy. After 9 years, Evan and I have figured out how to operate together as a cohesive team. Not only do we feel more connected than ever, it just keeps getting better and better, and that's the truth. My friends, I have read every single word of this little book, and no fibs or exaggerations, he's nailed this one. Our schedules are full. If we're not completely dialed into what he needs to get done, things slip through the cracks, and that includes making time to stay connected with each other. We're both in this together. Evan and I are still best friends because we are committed to showing up for each other every single day. Evan's right. Love is not what you say or how you feel, but what you do. Every day we show up for each other unconditionally. We keep our things super basic. Our home is relatively easy to clean up and keep organized because we don't own a ton of stuff. We're smart with our money. We shop secondhand and maximize our consignment accounts. We've refinanced our home a couple of times. We invest intelligently. And we don't buy a ton of crap we don't need. It's the little things that make us happy, not the fancy presents and the expensive stuff. If anything, we spend our money on good food and memorable experiences. We've been through a lot, and nothing ever feels so big that we can't handle it together. We keep things super simple, and that makes staying connected to each other so much easier and so much better. So, from my family to yours, wishing you epic love, great sex, and the relationship you seek, and above all, joy.